The $1 billion bride, a wedding day betrayal, the shocking betrayal, the perfect wedding morning welcome to Crown Fire Tales. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. She found them in her wedding dress, not strangers, not some random affair. Her fiancé, the man she was supposed to marry in 3 hours, and her sister tangled together in the bridal suite, on the bed covered in rose petals meant for their wedding night. Sophia Hart stood frozen in the doorway, her heart shattering into 1,000 pieces. The bouquet she'd been holding slipped from her fingers and hit the marble floor with a dull thud. They didn't even notice her at first. Her sister Natalie was wearing Sophia's veil. Her veil. The custom lace her grandmother had worn. The one Sophia had treasured her entire life. And Marcus, her Marcus, was kissing Natalie's neck, whispering something that made her giggle. Marcus? Sophia's voice cracked, barely a whisper. They froze. Marcus pulled away, his face going pale. Natalie turned slowly, and the look on her face wasn't guilt. It was triumph. Sophia. Marcus scrambled off the bed, pulling on his shirt. This isn't what? Sophia's voice rose, trembling with fury and heartbreak. Isn't you screwing my sister 3 hours before our wedding? Natalie stretched lazily, like a cat who'd just caught a mouse. She stood, adjusting the veil on her head, smirking. Oh, honey, did you really think he wanted you? The words hit like a slap. The truth unfolds. What are you talking about? Sophia's hands shook. She looked at Marcus, searching his face for any sign of the man she thought she knew. Marcus, tell me this is some sick mistake. He wouldn't meet her eyes. Natalie laughed, a cold, cruel sound. You really are pathetic, Sophia. Do you want to tell her, or should I? Marcus ran a hand through his hair, his jaw tight. Sophia, look, this wasn't supposed to happen today. We were going to tell you after the wedding. After the wedding? Sophia's voice cracked. You were going to marry me and then tell me you've been sleeping with my sister? It's not like that, Marcus said, but his voice was weak, empty. Natalie stepped forward, her smile widening. Oh, it's exactly like that. Marcus and I have been together for over a year, Sophia. The whole time you were planning this ridiculous fairy tale wedding, he was with me. Sophia felt like the floor had opened beneath her. A year. They'd been engaged for 18 months. Which meant you were together before he even proposed to me? Natalie shrugged. He needed your money, sweetheart. The Hart family fortune. Daddy's billions. You didn't think Marcus actually loved you, did you? Sophia's breath caught. She looked at Marcus, desperate for him to deny it. Tell me she's lying. He finally met her gaze, and in his eyes she saw the truth. Cold, calculating. He didn't love her, he never had. Your father was never going to approve of me, Marcus said quietly. But if I married you, I'd have access to everything. The company, the estate, the trust fund. Sophia stumbled backward, her mind reeling. So this whole time, our entire relationship, it was all a lie? Not all of it, Marcus said, but even he didn't sound convincing. Natalie laughed again. God, you're so naive. Did you really think someone like Marcus would fall for someone like you? You're boring, Sophia. Safe. Predictable. I'm the one he wants. I'm the one he's always wanted. The final blow, Sophia's chest tightened. She couldn't breathe. Her whole world, the life she'd imagined, the future she'd planned, was crumbling before her eyes. Why? She whispered, tears streaming down her face. Why would you do this to me, Natalie? You're my sister. Natalie's smile turned vicious. Because you always had everything, Sophia. Daddy's favorite, the golden child, the perfect daughter. I was always second to you. Well, guess what? Not anymore. Sophia felt something inside her break. Not just her heart, something deeper. The trust she'd always had, the belief that her family loved her. But then, through the haze of pain, a thought surfaced. A memory, her father's words, just last week, Sophia, I'm updating my will. You'll inherit the majority of the Hart estate. You've earned it. And suddenly, it all made sense. You knew, Sophia said slowly, her voice cold now. You knew about the will. Natalie's smile faltered, just for a second. That's what this is about, isn't it? Sophia's tears stopped. Her grief was hardening into something sharper. You're not just trying to steal my fiancé. You're trying to steal my inheritance. Marcus shifted uncomfortably. Sophia, that's not. Shut up. Sophia's voice was ice. She looked at her sister. You thought if you destroyed me, humiliated me, I'd be out of the picture. Daddy would disinherit me and you'd get everything. Natalie's mask slipped. For a moment, Sophia saw the raw jealousy beneath. You don't deserve it. You never did. Sophia laughed, a bitter, broken sound. And you think you do? The vow, she took a step back, wiping her tears. Her hands were steady now. Her heartbreak was still there, a raw wound in her chest, but something else was rising to the surface. Rage. You want to know what's funny? Sophia said, her voice dangerously calm. I was going to share everything with you, Natalie. After the wedding, I was going to make sure you were taken care of. Because despite everything, you're my sister. Natalie's smile returned. How sweet, but now? Sophia's eyes hardened. Now, I'm going to make sure you get exactly what you deserve. Nothing. Marcus stepped forward. Sophia, don't do anything stupid. She turned on him, her fury blazing. Marrying you would have been stupid, Marcus. But don't worry, that's one mistake I won't be making. She pulled the engagement ring off her finger and threw it at his feet. It bounced once, the diamond glinting in the morning light before rolling under the bed. You two deserve each other, Sophia said. But if you think you're going to get away with this, if you think you're going to get my family's money, my father's company, or anything that belongs to me, you're both more deluded than I thought. Natalie laughed. What are you going to do, Sophia? Cry to Daddy? Sophia smiled, cold and calculating. No, I'm going to destroy you. She turned and walked toward the door. Wait, where are you going? Marcus called after her. Sophia paused, looking back over her shoulder. To cancel a wedding. And then, her smile widened. Then I'm going to make you both wish you'd never betrayed me. She slammed the door behind her. The cliffhanger in the hallway. Sophia's composure finally cracked. She leaned against the wall, her breath coming in ragged gasps. Her phone buzzed in her clutch. A text from an unknown number. I saw what they did to you. I can help. Meet me at the old pier in 1 hour. Come alone. You want revenge? I can give it to you. Sophia stared at the message, her heart pounding. Who was this? And more importantly, could she trust them? She looked back at the closed door of the bridal suite, where the two people she'd loved most had just destroyed her. She typed one word, where? Heartbreak and revenge. The mysterious stranger, the old pier, was abandoned, rotting wood stretching out over dark water. The wind whipped Sophia's hair around her face as she stood at the edge, waiting. She'd left the venue in her car, still wearing her engagement dress, a simple white sheath she'd planned to change out of before the ceremony. Guests were arriving. Her father was probably wondering where she was. She didn't care. Her phone buzzed again. Turn around. Sophia spun, her heart racing. A man stood 20 feet away, hands in the pockets of an expensive black suit. He was tall, dark-haired, with sharp features and eyes that seemed to see right through her. He looked familiar, but she couldn't place him. Who are you? Sophia demanded. The man smiled, slow and dangerous. Someone who knows exactly what Marcus and your sister did to you, and someone who can help you make them pay. How do you know about that? I make it my business to know things, Miss Hart. He stepped closer. My name is Damien Cross. The name hit her like a bolt of lightning. Damien Cross. The billionaire investor. The corporate raider. the man they called the Devil of Wall Street. Why would someone like you care about my personal drama? Sophia asked, suspicious. Damien's smile widened. Because Marcus Hale owes me $20 million. And your sister, she's been funneling money from your father's company into offshore accounts for the past 6 months. Sophia's blood ran cold. What? They've been planning this for a long time, Sophia. The affair, the wedding, the betrayal. They were going to bleed your family dry and disappear. The offer Sophia's mind raced. How do you know all this? I have my sources. Damien pulled out a tablet and handed it to her. See for yourself. Sophia scrolled through the documents, bank statements, emails, text messages, all of it damning. Marcus and Natalie weren't just having an affair. They were stealing from her family. Oh my God, she whispered. Your father doesn't know yet, Damien said. But he will, unless you stop them first. Sophia looked up at him. Why are you telling me this? Because I want something in return. There it was, the catch. What do you want? Sophia asked warily. Damien's eyes gleamed. Marry me. Sophia laughed, a sharp, incredulous sound. You're insane, am I? Damien stepped closer, his gaze intense. Think about it, Sophia. You marry me, and you get everything you need. Protection, power, revenge. I get access to your father's company, legitimately, and Marcus and your sister get nothing. Why would you want to marry me? You don't even know me. I know enough. Damien's voice softened, just slightly. I know you're smart. I know you're stronger than they think. And I know you want to make them suffer. Sophia's heart pounded. This was crazy. Marrying a stranger for revenge? But as she looked at the evidence on the tablet, at the proof of Marcus and Natalie's betrayal, something inside her snapped. What's in it for you? She asked. Business, Damien said simply. Your father's company is worth billions. With you as my wife, I gain a legitimate stake. And you get the power to crush anyone who's ever wronged you. The decision Sophia stared at him. Every logical part of her brain screamed that this was a terrible idea. But the part of her that was broken, that was burning with rage and humiliation, that part wanted blood. If I do this, Sophia said slowly, I want full control over what happens to Marcus and Natalie. Damien smiled. Done. And I want a prenup that protects my family's assets. Already drafted. He pulled a document from his jacket. Sign here. Sophia hesitated. This was insane. She was about to marry a man she'd met 20 minutes ago. But then she thought of Marcus's face. Natalie's smug smile, the veil her sister had worn mockingly. She grabbed the pen and signed. The announcement 2 hours later, Sophia walked back into the wedding venue, not as a jilted bride, but as a woman on a mission. The guests were confused. The ceremony was supposed to have started. Marcus and Natalie were nowhere to be seen. Sophia's father, William Hart, rushed to her. Sophia, where have you been? What's going on? Dad, Sophia said calmly, I need you to trust me. Before he could respond, Damien walked in, commanding every eye in the room. Who the hell is that? William demanded. My husband, Sophia said. The room exploded. The confrontation Marcus and Natalie finally appeared, looking frazzled. They froze when they saw Damien. What is he doing here? Marcus's face went white. Sophia smiled, cold and triumphant. Surprised to see him? You should be. Damien Cross is my husband now. We just got married at the courthouse. Natalie laughed nervously. You're bluffing. Sophia held up her left hand, showing a new ring, a massive diamond that made her old engagement ring look like a toy. Try me. Marcus stepped forward, his face twisted with rage. You can't do this, Sophia. That wedding was supposed to secure your inheritance. Oh, you mean the inheritance you were planning to steal? Sophia's voice was icy. She pulled out the tablet Damien had given her. Should we talk about the offshore accounts, Natalie? Or the $20 million Marcus owes Damien? The color drained from both their faces. William Hart stepped forward, his expression thunderous. Somebody better start explaining. Now, the unraveling Sophia handed her father the tablet. As he scrolled through the evidence, his face turned red with fury. "You've been embezzling from my company?" He roared at Natalie. "Daddy, I can explain. And you." William turned on Marcus. "You were going to marry my daughter to steal from me?" Marcus opened his mouth, but no words came out. Damien stepped forward, his voice calm and deadly. "I'm calling in Marcus's debt, effective immediately. And as for the embezzlement," he looked at Natalie. "I've already contacted the authorities." Natalie's face crumpled. "No, Sophia, please, please." Sophia's laugh was bitter. "You wanted to destroy me, Natalie. Congratulations. You destroyed yourself instead." Security moved in, escorting both Marcus and Natalie out as they protested and screamed. The cliffhanger as the chaos settled, Sophia turned to Damien. "Why did you really help me?" she asked quietly. Damien's expression was unreadable. "Maybe I have my own reasons for wanting revenge on Marcus Hale." "What reasons?" He leaned in close, his breath warm against her ear. "That's a story for another time, wife." Sophia's heart raced. She'd gotten her revenge, but as she looked into Damien's dark eyes, she realized something terrifying. She'd just married a man who might be even more dangerous than the people she'd destroyed. The ultimate payback, the honeymoon of lies, 3 months, had passed since the wedding that never was. And the wedding that actually happened. Sophia Hartcross stood in the penthouse suite of Damien's Manhattan high-rise, staring out at the glittering city below. She'd thought revenge would feel sweet. Instead, it felt hollow. Marcus was in prison, awaiting trial for fraud. Natalie had been cut off completely. No money, no family, no future. Their plan had collapsed spectacularly. Sophia should have been happy. But every night, she lay in bed next to a man she barely knew, wondering what she'd gotten herself into. Damien was a ghost. He came and went at odd hours, took mysterious phone calls, and never let her in. Their marriage was a business arrangement. Nothing more. Or so she'd thought. The discovery had started with a locked drawer in Damien's office. Sophia had been looking for a pen when she found it, a drawer that wouldn't open, secured with a biometric lock. Curiosity gnawed at her. What was Damien hiding? She waited until he left for a business trip, then called in a favor from her father's head of security. Within an hour, the drawer was open. Inside was a file about her. Sophia's hands shook as she flipped through the pages. Photos of her from years ago, background checks, financial records, and then a photograph that made her blood run cold. It was her mother. Sophia's mother had died when she was 10. A car accident, they'd said. Tragic, unavoidable. But in this photo, her mother was standing next to a younger Damien Cross. They were smiling. Close. Too close. The confrontation when Damien returned, Sophia was waiting in his office, the file spread across his desk. He stopped in the doorway, his expression unreadable. "You went through my things," he said calmly. "You had a file on me." Sophia's voice shook with fury. "You've been investigating me for years." And my mother, her voice broke. "You knew my mother." Damien closed the door behind him, his jaw tight. "Yes. Yes? That's all you have to say?" He walked to the desk, picking up the photo of Sophia's mother. For a moment, his mask slipped, and she saw something raw in his eyes. "Her name was Evelyn," he said quietly, "and she was the love of my life." Sophia felt like she'd been punched. "What?" The truth. Damien sat down, his shoulders heavy. "I met your mother 25 years ago. We were young, in love. We were going to get married." Sophia's mind reeled. "But she married my father." She did. Damien's voice was bitter. Because your father threatened me. He was already powerful, already rich. He told me if I didn't leave Evelyn alone, he'd destroy my family. We had nothing back then, Sophia. My parents were drowning in debt. One word from William Hart, and we would have lost everything. Sophia sank into a chair, her legs weak. So you left her. I had no choice. Damien's hands clenched. And she married William. She had you. And his voice cracked. I spent the next 20 years building an empire, all so I could be powerful enough that no one could ever threaten me again. Why didn't you tell me? Sophia whispered. Because I wasn't supposed to care. Damien looked at her, and for the first time, she saw the man behind the mask. When I heard you were getting married, I thought I could use it as an opportunity. Get close to your father's company. Finally take back what he stole from me. But then I saw you, Damien said softly. And you looked just like her. And I realized. He stopped, his voice thick with emotion. Realized that I'd made a terrible mistake. The twist Sophia's heart pounded. What are you saying? Damien stood, crossing to her. He knelt in front of her chair, taking her hands in his. Your mother's death wasn't an accident, Sophia. The world tilted. What? She found out what your father did to me, how he threatened me. She was going to leave him. And 2 weeks later, she died in that car crash. Sophia couldn't breathe. You think my father, I don't think. I know. Damien's grip tightened. I've spent years investigating. The brake lines were cut, Sophia. It was murder. Tears streamed down her face. No, my father wouldn't. Your father is a monster, Damien said, his voice hard. And I married you to get close enough to prove it. Sophia pulled her hands away, standing abruptly. So that's what this was? Another revenge scheme? It was, Damien admitted. At first. And now? He looked up at her, his dark eyes filled with something she'd never seen before. Now I'm in love with you. The choice Sophia stared at him, her heart shattering all over again. You used me, she whispered. I did. Damien stood. And I'm sorry. But Sophia, everything I told you about Marcus and Natalie, that was real. They were going to destroy you. And you? Her voice broke. What were you going to do? I was going to take down your father and then disappear. But I can't. Because somewhere along the way, I fell in love with the woman my Evelyn would have wanted her daughter to be. Sophia's tears fell faster. I don't know if I can believe you. Then don't. Damien pulled a folder from his desk. But believe this. He handed it to her. Inside was evidence. Real, concrete evidence that her father had orchestrated her mother's death. Sophia's hands shook as she read. Bank transfers to a mechanic. Emails discussing the problem of Evelyn. A signed confession from the man who'd cut the brakes. Oh my God, she whispered. I'm giving this to you, Damien said. What you do with it is your choice. Turn it over to the police, confront your father, or bury it and walk away. I won't stop you. Sophia looked up at him, her world crumbling. Why are you giving me this? Because I love you, Damien said simply. And you deserve the truth. The payback 2 weeks later, William Hart was arrested. The evidence was overwhelming. The trial was swift. Sophia testified against him. And when the verdict came, guilty, she felt nothing. No satisfaction, no closure, just emptiness. But as she walked out of the courtroom, Damien was waiting. He didn't say anything. He just held out his hand. Sophia looked at it for a long moment. Then she took it. The beginning 6 months later, Sophia stood on the balcony of their home, watching the sunset. Damien came up behind her, wrapping his arms around her waist. Do you regret it? He asked softly. Sophia thought about everything she'd lost, her father, her sister, her old life. But she also thought about what she'd gained. the truth, her freedom, and love. Real, complicated, messy love. No, she said, leaning back against him. I don't. Damien kissed her temple. Good. Because I'm never letting you go. Sophia smiled, closing her eyes. She'd gotten her revenge, but more than that, she'd gotten her life back. Epilogue, the final twist 1 year later. Sophia received a letter. It was from Natalie. Dear Sophia, I know you'll never forgive me. I don't expect you to, but I need you to know I'm pregnant with Marcus's child. And I have nothing. I'm not asking for money. I'm asking for mercy. Please. Natalie Sophia stared at the letter for a long time. Then she picked up her phone and made a call. Damien, I need you to find someone for me. Who? Sophia smiled, cold and calculating. My sister. It's time we had a conversation.